Relax your mind. It's divine time.
All right, man. Why you? Your timing is impeccable. Your timing is impeccable, impossible. Seriously. As soon as we pop up, it's just you all up in the camera.
Hey man, that's life. That's life, man. It's life.
Bro, with it, you know the topics for today. What is time? We got what is time? Who owns reality? And what are your real senses? I did a little bit on here, but I imagine that Mr. Impossible, he's really going to educate us on this one. I mean, I imagine Mr. Impossible and Sigma Uno are probably going to be the ones to really bring this home. Because I mean, when we brought up the topic, I was like, yo, I'm not real familiar with all this. I have some ideas on like the first two, but for the last one, I had to dig in, and I was like, ooh, and I have an idea of what he was talking about with all what are your real senses. So I'm gonna say mine, and then I want to hear what they really are. Now with it, I got with me Vex or Voxen. That's right, Voxen.
Vexen, yeah.
Vexen. Okay, my bad. I screwed that all up. So got with me Vexen. He's a genuine individual who I met when I was back in Washington State. I actually met him during the time when all that stuff was happening. Literally like the same day that I had got served, the same day that I met him, and it was through a mutual friend. I mean, me and him connected instantly. It was crazy. It was
dude.
It was pretty dope.
My God, that's
pretty dope. Oh, yeah, it was pretty dope. I felt that he was like skeptical of me at first because it was like our first time meeting and we met through a mutual friend.
But
it was like I remember he was like so how long have you known such and such? I was like, probably like what, 2-3 weeks now. So, and then like the festival started going on and we became like brothers. It was pretty dope. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and move on into the first topic, which is what is time. So with it, I have the definition of time, and it's actually quite interesting. It says continuous sequence of existence and event that occurs in an apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future. Now I'm like, that right there, I know is going to get a lot deeper than that. My personal definition of time is going to be kind of cliche because it's also the name of a movie. Anything and everything happening all at once. I feel like for me, that's the perfect way for me to be able to talk about time.
Like Mandela effect, you know. I've been hearing people say like the 3D world and the 5D world are merging, and that's exactly why like that Mandela effect exists, you know, because you know I see it like heaven and hell colliding. You know, think about that. It's interesting period we've been in this last few generations, millennia, however you want to call it. Like time really is just like a speck of sand in the whole ocean, the grand ocean of things, you know. If I were to like physically like visualize it, right? Think of like the Ouroboros, right? Infinitely just like growing and changing, just like infinitely woven in on itself. Like if you've seen the movie Interstellar, you know, like. So then I guess my next question was, what do you think the driving force in reality is and how it affects time? Because like we've got the parallel universe theory, you know, so like what is that, you know?
Your question, I feel like it ties into another question that we have that's going to be coming up. Who owns reality? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, the question you just asked, I'm gonna go ahead and dock that to answer that when we talk about that one. Because with it, I don't even want to talk on it because I'm gonna try and stay on the talking points, you know. So we're gonna circle back onto what you just said. So with it, Sigma Uno, what do you feel is time?
Who is Sigma Uno?
Walter.
Okay. Yeah, It froze for a minute there.
Yeah,
I was like, what
I
just happened?
thought he was gonna like look. I'm like, did he forget the name he wanted to be called by? I was like,
you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here like,
Everything froze for a minute. I was like, what
okay,
is-
all right, okay, all right, I'm gonna let that go.
Yeah, on our side, it looked like you were just like,
Just sit there. Yeah, right.
But yeah, what is your definition of time?
My definition of time, man. One word, trap. The reason why I say it's a trap is because everyone's clocking their movement based on minutes, hours, and milliseconds, when we were a lot more free than that. We clocked everything by the sun going up and down, sundials, the movement of the star. I mean, we didn't clock ourselves by minutes, hours, and milliseconds. We didn't, or seconds. We didn't. We managed ourselves on the. I mean, we paid more attention to the celestials than anything else. We paid more attention to the stars, the quakes. We paid attention to more of that, and it takes our attention away from it. It takes our attention away from looking at the star. I mean, the Dogon tribe, they based every natural disaster on what they saw in the stars, and they were more accurate than scientists or telescopes or anything like that. And everything that they did was based on the stars. Yeah. So why are we following this clock? And this goes into the other question that you're talking about: who owns reality? But I'm not gonna go into that any further until we get to that question. But in one word, for me, it's trap. It's a trap. That's what time is.
You can get lost in it. That's for sure.
It traps us in believing that there's only 24. Yeah, this is the thing that gets me. Our existence is constantly moving, right? Constantly moving. There's no break in it. Even when we're sleeping, we're working, right? Our minds are working, our spirits are working. So there's no break in time. There's no, 24 hours is up, let's get back to work. No, we've been working while we've been asleep. There's the constant movement. Even when we talk about our conversation with our higher self, when you say tomorrow, they don't understand what tomorrow is. They only understand what a continual time movement is. And I know you've heard about time space. It's been all over the television, but it's almost an accurate depiction of how we're supposed to exist on a continual time, on a continual movement, like we talked about with the universe. That's why when you say tomorrow to the universe, I was like, what are you talking about? Today is today. We're still moving. And it's a constant movement. It's just not. It's a break, and all of a sudden now let's start the day all over again. No, that goes back into this about who owns time, who owns reality, because that's part of their tools. But I'm going to yield.
Well, I mean, for me, time, I don't look at time as quote unquote, as Walt said, minutes and hours and seconds. I understand time to be cycles. So I live in a cycle, not exactly time. Because if you can tell me UTC time is the universal time, but then you got Eastern time, Pacific time, you know what I'm saying, Western time. You got all these different times. You don't know what time we're in. We got 9 different calendars. So you know what I'm saying? So we don't know what time is according to. But as Walt said, according to the stars, that's how we understood cycles. You know, Ira, you had said something on your TikTok the other day talking about the Anunnaki being here for that, 5,000 years, like a blink of an eye, like 1 year. So the fact that 1 year, a celestial year, is 5,000 years, quote unquote, of time. You know what I'm saying? We are limited by the construction of what time has been formatted for us. So we're not viewing time as in cycles. We're viewing time minutes, weeks. It's year 2024 when we in year 6245.
Right.
So how we in 6245, but they got us believing it's 2024 at 7:39 for UTC time, telling me it's 11:39.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. How are you going to be in one state and literally the state right next to you is like 3 hours ahead or something along those lines? Like what?
So
How?
go ahead.
And then the funny thing about it is
the way that they keep
we've
us separated.
been on this that we feel like it's second nature, but it's a complete. My body battles it completely because I started astral traveling and doing other things with the dimensions, and it's like, wait a minute, we're trying to catch up with what we call the spiritual plane, right? The spiritual plane is constantly moving. We're only stopped here because they told us you got to stop after 12 hours. After you have to have 8 hours of sleep. You got to get up. You got to go to work. You got to be there at this time. You got to be the doctors at this time. And not saying it doesn't work for people that want to live in this. I'm actively trying. There you go. Exactly.
Astral dynamics, baby. we ain't here, man. We're not here.
We're not.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
We're not. But it's just I feel robbed when I find out stuff like this because it's like, what have I been doing this whole time? I've been fighting this, and they call it CP time, right? Because we're not on their clock. We've never been on their clock. And it's like, okay, you're always late. No, I'm on time.
That's funny. I was telling Boxing earlier. I was like, we just gonna wait for them. I was like, they on CPT.
You know? Oh wow.
I mean, but think about it. All the things that work that we believe are working against us that prevent us from being on time, according to here, we're battling different realities. We're literally battling different realities. Yes. We're battling the reality that is who we actually are, and then we're battling this reality that they want us to assimilate to, and that is it's unnerving when you start dealing with astral travel. When you start dealing with dimensions and other planes, it becomes tiring, and it's like, okay, I don't want to really be here, but I gotta be here because I got something to do. And if I could figure out, and I've been working on this. I've been working on being in a system, creating a system outside of the system that doesn't require me to be in their time frame. I hate the idea that the system that they created is working overtime. And think about it. That's the only reason why we get sick, because we're stressed out, because we got to be wherever we need to be. When they say we got to be there, it's, again, I'm battling 2 or 3 different planes right now, and the ones that flow evenly are the ones that I deal better with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I find it very interesting.
Thing
because he actually. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're good.
Oh, I was gonna say I find it interesting because Sun Tzu, he actually says that a person living in the past deals with depression. A person living in the future lives with anxiety. A person living with peace is living in the now. And I'm like, when you think about that on a spiritual, esoteric level, I'm like, it makes a lot more sense because time is not real.
Right.
So with it, if you just living in the now for every moment is the present, that's how you remain at peace. I was like, the same way that they have it micromanaged now to where, because I'm like, if you think about it, back then they probably like, okay, when the sun reaches this time, I'm gonna do this. So it's like you're operating in your reality because that time could be considered something different to somebody else. But now it's like for you, you know exactly what you're talking about. Your reality is your reality. And with that, I guess I'll go ahead and type into the next one, which who owns reality. So with it, I feel like the way that we see time now is just micromanagement. That's for the agenda of the working a job that they have set up. So therefore, constantly keep our body in chaos. But with it, I've got the definition for reality: the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to idealistic or national idea of them. I was just like, ooh,
Who owns reality?
yeah.
Yeah,
So who
that's
owns? I'm like, who owns reality? And I think I know what impossible is gonna say. So I'm not gonna
What?
say the same thing. Or no, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
No,
Bump it.
you say what you're supposed to say, and I'll say what I need to say.
Okay. I'm like, when it comes down to reality, you own your own reality. And I mean, with all the things that I have gone through in like the last 2 years, it really opened my eyes to see, like, you know what? We all have our own reality. And with that, you cannot sit here and try and control somebody else's reality. That right there would definition of manipulation. So it's like, yo, there's a saying, I may see a 6, you may see a 9. Neither one of us is wrong. It depends on the way that we're looking at it. And I'm like, that right there is like the perfect thing, because I'm living in my reality. The things that happens in my life happens in my life. It's not, it most likely does not happen in yours. It might be, we might end up crossing paths, or something will happen at that time to where we both might be having it happen in our realities, but we're not living the same lives. My reality is not your reality, and I cannot tell you what is true in yours and what is not.
Wow, that was
I've learned a lot through some experiences, and it really, even like not last week, but the week before, like Walter was here, and he saw the little conversation that I had with my mother-in-law, and the things that she was saying. I mean, ultimately, what it comes down to is it's your reality. I mean, what we were coming down to is your reality. And I understood what she was saying. I'm a little hard-headed, so of course I'm gonna keep pushing back. But so with it, that's really what it comes down to. You cannot expect someone to share your reality. And therefore, if you're in my situation, I was like having people see what's going on and nobody want to say anything. That's trying to force them into my reality. That is also kind of another form of manipulation.
I think it's see, we've been fight. I think we entered this world fighting. Literally, we've entered this world fighting, and from birth to where we are now, it's always been something or some fight. So we told you about a reality. You see what I'm saying? Has anyone other than them sitting you in front of a television saying, "Watch this while I get this done"? That was not reality. None of that was reality. They're feeding you the fallacy, and the reason why is because they're already functioning in it. So they're not going to take the time to tell you that what reality actually is for you, or what it is for them, or what the expectation is, or what you're actually here for. They're not going to tell you that. So because they haven't told you, it buzzes by you, and you're looking at things in the world as if you have to participate, but that's not actual. A couple of things. I toggle between the King Solomon and other things that I've read, and it talks about your relationship with your higher self. So your relationship with your higher self is supposed to be a constant conversation, right? And if the constant conversation fails, then you're not talking about what's supposed to happen next. I can remember a time in my life where I would get cues on which way to turn while I'm driving, and then I would miss a cop or I would miss an accident. You see what I'm saying? So that's having a constant conversation with your higher power. That is the reality.
Hey,
we don't have time for that, right?
We got a question
about what we.
Annabelle's asking, but do you feel like people can share reality even for a moment? I think we had just said that. Yeah, like if something that, for example, like let's say that Walter and Ralph and me are like at a store. When something happens at that store, I'm like, that happens in all of our realities right then and there.
At that very moment, yeah.
I mean, yeah. At that particular moment, all that is happening in all of our realities. We are sharing that reality.
Right
now. I mean, with it, some of the details may be remembered differently, but we all are sharing that reality together. So I mean, there's going to be pinpoints where we are going to agree on some things, and there may be some things that we may not agree upon based off of the angle or location that you was at. You may have seen the person do something that I didn't see because their back was to me, but you were in front of them, you know?
Right.
But
so sorry.
I was just about to point to you. I was like, Fudge, what did he say his name was on here again?
I would say that realities are owned by each individual, but they overlap, right, to create the shared experience that we all flow through time on. All right. And then so you take it even further from that, and then like what defines reality, and that would be choice. Choice defines reality because we all have a choice, right? And that's what precludes alternate dimensions, alternate choices you could have taken along the way. And I don't know about you, but like I have experienced those alternate realities in real time within this reality. So like those are when you talk about astral walking, sometimes the astros walk to you, and it's an interesting feeling, but choice defines reality, and we each choose our own reality. We each make choices which further defines our reality, but we let zeitgeist govern our reality. Exactly. And that's like, if you've ever seen the anime Psychopaths, like it's a really interesting anime that talks about the collective conscious and how it's used to govern, here's this, super empathetic detective that is, seeing through the cracks of the system. And they realize that this system is trying to breed sociopaths. So the sociopaths can then run the system because they've got a clear head on things, right? They can shift their stance to what's efficient, right? And that makes the system unethical. And Tsunemori points that out. She, for lack of a better term, bangs on heaven's door and is like, what the fuck? Therefore changes the system. And so so when you want change, you change the zeitgeist, or at least challenge it. And so there we define reality. So who owns it? It's the people that own it. No matter what. The people and the planet. And guess what? The trees are living too. They be talking,
Right. What does it say? Let ye with ears hear.
But a lot of what we call reality is
that is.
A lot of what we call reality is someone else's idea. So we're defining a reality based upon ideas that's not our own. So how you making a choice about your reality, but you didn't have the idea or you didn't construct the environment for your reality.
Wow.
So we all talking this reality. I made my choice. You did. How? You built this system. Now we got this divine consciousness. That's a reality that no one can touch. Man can't fuck with it. So if you asking me what is reality, divine consciousness, that's reality. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reality. Right. Everything after that is just a perspective, because that's why we all can tonight. We are all sharing reality.
Yes, right. This is something we all are going to remember.
Right. We all share reality, but we're not defining our reality based upon someone else's construction. We're defining reality based upon our internal understanding.
Right. That's why I don't like to say like we're all the same. Like I like to say we are one planet, because like we are like one planet, but like we're each individual pieces of that infinity.
Right.
I'll say the same thing I said the last podcast we did. It's an honor being here, being with divine expressions of love. I say it again, because that's all we are. We are one mind, dynamic expressions.
Exactly.
So that's why, and I love these kind of topics because we can all, again, share reality from that internal place. You can't fuck with that. So we got to watch what we call reality. And I remember a quote a long time ago. It said, "The definition of power is the ability to define someone else's reality and make them live according to that definition as if it were their own."
Now that's zeitgeist, 100%. And they build it on the basis of our need, all on the basis of needs. So you need, what are the basic needs? Food, travel, place to live, shelter. All those things are a necessity. So they come and they take everything into themselves. They take ownership of it. I mean, here in Amexium, there was no one individual person owning anything. It was, well, we talked about before, Pangea. Everyone chose where they lived, and they lived there. And
that's the Tower of Babel, I swear.
Exactly. If you were one people, if you were one person, or you were a people, then we were the best at the structure of family and economy and culture and community. We were that number. We were the one. It proved. Black Wall Street proved it. It proved even after all the hell we went through, we still have that cohesiveness to where we can get together and do just about anything. We had to do that because we're sharing the same reality. They don't want us here. They don't like us at all, period. So let's move somewhere else collectively and create a reality where we're okay, we're taken care of. You see what I'm saying? We have to move on because we had to move on because we were discarded. And I mean, you'll always hear me come from a place of struggle because that's where I came from. Nothing was told to me and listed to me. I had to experience literally all of it because there was no teacher. And the best thing that I'd ever done was beginning to chakra align, because it brought me into a place to where I had to go inside of myself and figure out things instead of trying to live from a perspective of someone else. So I had to discard the reality that I was looking at and pull inside of myself to find the reality that would suit me and made me more solid. You see what I'm saying?
We call it evolution.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So that was the basis of that was the beginning of my evolution. And the more I evolved, the less that I liked what I was looking at from the outside. It was like, okay, it's plain in your face at that point. This is the reality. I worked the banking system for a long time, and when the crash came in 2008, it actually came before then. It came before then, and we kind of saw the writing on the wall. But when it did happen, I saw the most crooked people ever in my life. The people that I worked for were the most crooked people in this world. I'm telling you, there was this thing called the Bankers Manifesto. It broke down the system of banking. It broke down money. It broke down the idea that there's only a certain amount in circulation. That's why the economic system is the way it is. 1% own the most of the wealth of the world. They need poverty. They need crime. They need all of these things to make their economy work. That is their reality. You see what I'm saying? If we never bought into it, and we say $1 was a pebble, then we would clearly move away from their system of things. And that stuff moved around the world. That's why the IMF was created. This is all their reality in order to pull all resources to them and make us pay them for it. So whose reality is that? That's their reality. We're living in it. We have to thrive in it. We have to exist in it. But again, I've been working on a different way. I've been working on a different thing that'll kind of pull me and the people around me are completely away from what that looks like. You see what I'm saying? The dollar's changing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just like stretching.
But again, I mean, that's just, again, it's my perspective. It's what I've seen. I've worked in the corporate world for a long time, even nonprofit. It's all dog eat dog, and it's all a reality that only the 1% want that the 1% run because they need it. So if you ever work for those people, you're just a foot soldier. You're there making their dream come true and making their organization look shiny and beautiful. That's it. That's it. There's no significance. You're not significant in it. And again, it's their reality, not mine. I have to work because I have to eat. I have to work because I have to pay bills and insurance and all the rest of the stuff in their reality. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. There's a way out though, again, and I've been working on it for quite a while now.
The way out is in, they say.
There you go. Inward. There you go.
Everything is within. I mean, oh man, that takes me to want to start talking about the Bible. I mean, if I'm mistaken, Christ said it. He said the way to the Father is within. Like he said it clear as day at everybody's face. But everything else in the Bible is freaking riddles damn near, and you got to read it in certain orders to get the message. But it's like some things that they literally say straight to you. Some people are still thinking that it's a riddle.
Right.
But anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. I want to try this one. I'm going to need you with this one, Ralph.
What's up?
What are your real senses?
What are your real senses?
All right. So with it, I'm like, okay, cool. We got and I think this is where you were going. Tell me if I'm right. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited.
Holla at me. Let me see.
I'm like, you got your five senses. Was it like sight, feeling, hearing, taste, and what's the other one? Is it speech? No. Taste. Touch. There we go. Touch. So I'm like, with it, I'm like, were you going into the clairs?
Clairs.
Okay, for like clairvoyance, claircognizant, clairaudience.
No, not all of them. It's only two. You have 9 total senses. You have the regular 5 that you have, and you have imagination, memory, clairvoyance, and clairaudio.
Okay, because what I ended up looking up, I ended up finding clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience, and clairalience, and clairgustance.
Yeah, I listen.
The way I like to break it down, is well, I mean, a lot of those, what they call it, psychic experiences can be broken down through empathy. I feel like.
Because I'm like, for example, you got clairvoyance, which is the ability to receive information through visions of the past or future. I was like, okay. I'm like, then you got claircognizant, which is the gift of clear knowingness. I was like, okay, so is that kind of just like intuition?
I guess empathy would be more like psychometry and like, shared experiences, shared feelings, whatnot. So like once you get into that, clairaudience, clairvoyance, you're breaking through what they call the crown chakra, which I have. That is the point of understanding. Ability to receive information.
Now, understand that what I'm reading from is spiritual alchemy. It's not just, you just pulling out all the clearances.
Yeah.
They're giving you. It's a you're building. I don't know if you can see it, but you're building this pyramid. You see?
I see.
You're building this pyramid through those senses to bring that bride and that groom together. So it's just it's all things coming together in that one. So so remember we was talking about intuition and discernment, right?
You know what's interesting? For some reason, that's making me think of a temple.
Because that's what it is. You are the temple. You're right. That's what it is. But see, the same thing. So when we was talking about intuition and discernment on the last one, how do you have discernment and intuition properly without you missing 4 senses? Yeah. Now, on the other side of the 7 deadly sins, which is 9, it's blindness and ignorance. So it's blindness and error. So how do you use all of your senses when you don't even know your senses?
Exactly.
Now we know why they say people don't have common sense.
Because they don't know. So that's that one.
Yeah, you're right.
That is good. That's good. That brings a lot of things into perspective.
And so here's going down with a 9 daily. See, that's why you going down.
Greed, sloth, lust, gluttony, envy, pride, anger, error, blindness, and what's that last one?
Darkness.
Okay. Cheese and bread.
Spiritual darkness. Yeah.
Spiritual darkness. Okay, I see it. Reminds me of the prima materia a little. Ooh, okay.
Which one?
I don't know what that one is. Prima materia.
Yeah, so like the yin yang symbol is a prima materia. Black sulfur, which is another prima. No,
the alchemical process.
Okay.
Prima materia.
I've never heard that word.
So actually, I've got it in my wallet right here. I fucking love alchemy. I haven't really like delved too much into it, but like it's been something I've just really been really into. Tree of Life is also like one of my favorite symbols.
Yeah, my wife has this Tree of Life all the time.
Have you read the book?
That's the black sulfur symbol.
Oh, okay. I see the infinity sign at the bottom, and then what is that? That's like the Leviathan cross on top of an infinity.
This is the Leviathan's cross. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Hey, Liz, you carry that in your pocket, right?
Yeah, all day, every day, as much as I can. I used to have actually. Hold on.
It's hanging right in my room. You know what I mean? It's right here.
Oh man.
So
this is exactly what Apostle was talking about. When we come on here and it's like-minded individuals, we talking and we collect.
Birds of a fucking feather, dude.
Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah. So just to piggyback on what the brother was saying, that cross is hanging right above my altar. You know what I'm talking about? So
right.
I've been dealing with these energies a long time.
Yeah. I remember the conversations we had.
Oh, I got the flash drive for you. I got you set.
All right. We can talk after, so I can come pick that up. That way I can. Yeah, we go link up. Oh, and I got a funny story for you too.
I don't even know if I want
it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. But thank you. Because I'm finally about to transfer.
Oh, okay. So I was like, yo, let me put this up, man. Like, yo, why you playing?
I'll tell you about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But anywho,
thank you.
Yeah.
I guess you are what needed to happen for me to finally go. Dang.
Hey,
so thank you for whatever. Thank you for whatever you said.
We get it done, man. We just, as Big Walt said, we live in different realities, man. We live in different realities. So
yeah, we do.
When I see something out of place, I'm like, really?
Yeah. Oh, I asked you.
Let me straighten this shit out.
I asked you a long time ago, what can I do better? You said, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Yo, shit.
Man, but there are. I mean, guys, there is a design on where you're actually supposed to be and where you actually thrive. So where you landed is not actually where you're supposed to be. And the place that you work the hardest is the place that's all you're going to ever do is work hard. There's a place there's a place in this whole world where you're actually supposed to be to thrive. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But no one knows that. No one taps into it at all, period. There's, again, when I started traveling and doing interdimensional stuff, it's like what I saw, the beauty of what I saw was like, okay, why is the reality we're on so ugly and so terrible? And it's based on our experience, but it's not where we're supposed to be. If you've landed somewhere that all you do is worry and go through shit and hurt and have pain all the time, you might want to think about, or you might want to get in touch or get connected to find out where am I actually supposed to be. But our automatic thought is, what work am I supposed to do, isn't it? That's the automatic thought. What am I here for? What work am I supposed to do? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I will also say that like
Mhm.
it's very, very important that like there are energy feeds out there. You know, there are people putting in some dark work out there, and you got to be careful. But man, like when you feel the waves slapping you, like they fucking slap you, dude. You know, like
Right.
you can feel that shit. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
I used to
agree.
say all the time, I'm like, a lot of people be asking the universe for signs, and then the universe literally be slapping the taste out their mouth.
But they're not
sometimes-
using their senses. They're not using their senses.
No,
Mhm.
no, they're
You
not.
see?
But at the same time, you can't. It's hard to recognize anything if you're not familiar with any type of signs, if you're not open to even seeing things, you know.
And that's where organized religion fails, because they don't tell you the whole story about who you are. They don't even begin to tell you.
in fact,
All
they'll
they
limit
do
your.
is remind you of all the negative things that you've
Chopping, you
done,
chopping.
and how bad it is, and how much suffering you're going to. We're powerful beyond measure. You see what I'm saying? We came here with that much power, and we were more powerful as children because we were uninhibited. But as we grew older, and as the responsibilities laid on us, and what we're supposed to do, and how you're going to make your parents proud by getting this job, that is the complete wrong direction that you go in. My brother said this a long time ago, and it started to make me think about it. He said, everyone's looking for God outside of themselves, but they've never looked inside at all.
Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
Because they don't,
Screw
because
face?
we're supposed to already feel that. You see what I'm saying? We're supposed to already have a connection there. So death is not really death. Death is transference, isn't it? It's us. It's our spirit transferring to the next, to where we plan to go next. But how much time? Yeah, how much time do we have to sit? Do we have to sit and talk about where we're going next? In this plane, we don't have time because we're too busy on this clock doing what they say we should do in order to survive. We already had a survival plan when we came, but we can't remember it. You see what I'm saying? And there's nobody there to cultivate it. So it took me as long as it has to get to this point to where self-cultivation is important, and I have to take time out to do that. Whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning doing my ancestor stuff, or whether it's a midday sunbathing or whatever, it's you reconnecting with the earth. Otherwise, looking into the computer, looking in the phone, having conversations with people, none of that feeds your soul or your spirit, and none of that feeds your ability to talk to your higher self. A constant conversation. That's why, if you think about it, people walking down the street, if you're from Tacoma, you understand what I'm getting ready to say. There's this guy named Tub Tub. They used to walk around with a cart. He wore dreads. He had ribbons in his hair, and all he said to people when they talked to him was, "Hey, Tub 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 Tub." This dude died a millionaire. Nobody knew. Nobody knew, but he walked around the world like he wanted to walk around the world. It was his conversation with whoever he was talking to, I believe was his higher self. And you have to take time out to do that. Even if people think that you're crazy. What? It's your life. You got to live it. So if you're planning for it to look a specific way, you're gonna have to take out time to talk to your higher self about what that looks like. Prayer is not begging or asking. Prayer is confirmation with your higher self about what you're planning to do.
And we can't to the world.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
And affirmations to the world.
Exactly.
Well, the cultivation of what we call reality in itself, it was created by some wicked people.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It was created by some wicked beings. So once we really understood that they did it, they time up, the system is gone.
Exactly.
But what I see is basically, you got to understand too, a system of worry. They created a system of worry.
Yeah.
You know
that
what I mean?
right there, I feel like the system of worry and fear, that right there can go into another topic.
Exactly.
When you look at it, you know, shit, everybody worried about what happened at the first of the month.
Worry about bills being paid.
Yeah, first of the month, my kids,
exactly.
my job,
worry. Exactly.
Man, the job thing, that's every day. What you gonna do today, man? Half the time I'm just like, man, I gotta get out of bed and go to work.
Exactly. And that becomes the center of everything is your
job.
work.
Just over broke. J-O-B.
Well, that's the thing we here to break though. That's the evolution of the fulfillment of what we came to do.
Right.
We came to cut that part. So even though that we all may be working jobs right now, ultimately your goal is to get about that job.
Right.
So you're not going to work. You're going to work to leave that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I got to go to work. But I promise you, I ain't in that motherfucker plan in 10 years. I mean that motherfucker plan in 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
Right, it's funny because like my wife
I got a 3-month plan. I got a 3-month plan. And then I'm gonna work this next 3 months. And then
it was like, yo, you're not at jobs very long. I was like, ultimately, I use a job kind of to build I get the skills that I need to do what it is that I'm trying to do and for the longevity of life. I've got manager experience. I have security backgrounds. I have investigations experience. I'm like, I have experience on dealing with money. I have experience with dealing with people. I'm like, I've done a lot of different things. And ultimately, I feel like I've got the experience that I need to do what I need to do.
Right.
And so I was using the jobs as a stepping stone to get that experience, because when you try and do things, even when people get a college degree, they can't get a job because they don't have the experience.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'm using a job as an on-the-job work experience to do what it is that I'm really aiming for. And I'm like, a lot of people will just get into one place and turn into a career and be miserable. And I'm just like, yo, I'm like, that's where you fucked up. I was like, you settled, guy. You settled.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm trying to build.
We've gone from apprenticeships and a reason why we're doing what we're doing versus I'm working to build something for someone else. And the thing that hit me hard with regards to that was working for a mortgage company that I could not elevate in at all, period. My plan was to be a CEO of a company. That wasn't happening. 2 strikes against me. One, I was black, and when I knew too much. And that's what pushed me to the side when it came to that. But it's, again, there's no, if I limited to myself to any of those companies, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't at all. And you see an opportunity, you build an opportunity. The thing that happens though, if you come to the place that you realize you've mastered other planes, conversations with ancestors, you've dealt with other spirits, spiritual existence. When you are able to master those and you step back into this plane, the whole thought frame is, I need to master this shit to move the fuck on. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what happened. I had to come to a place to where, like you're talking about the Tree of Life, I read that book and it gave me a completely different outlook on what my body is capable of doing. You see what I'm saying? Nobody told me that I could go without water or I could go without food for long periods of time and still actually exist. They make it seem like you're gonna die. The inside of your body is the picture of a rainforest. It supplies literally everything that you need. There's no you weren't dropped down here for no reason, and you weren't dropped down here to die. You're dropped down here to thrive. You see what I'm saying? For a long time, I couldn't understand what my fingers meant. Literally, my toes, my feet. I just knew that I was in movement, and that's it. You see what I'm saying? It's important to know what your body does, or what you're capable of, completely capable of. And when you master what you're capable of, no one can stop you from doing anything at all. Because when that kicks in, everything around that aura that kicks, and everybody's like, who's this dude? Who is this person? Well, I want to be a part of your. That's what literally kicks in. And for me, that happened. I had people sitting around me looking for information for something that I thought that they already knew. It was crazy. It was like, wait a minute, how is this happening? I didn't think I was the source of anything. You become the source of literally everything that you need. It happens. So it's not too far-fetched to say, yeah, the reality we live in is created to destroy us. But when you go inside, that bounce back, they can't do anything with you at all, period. They can't. Even if they wanted to, they can't, because death is a what? Death is transference. And that's what the basis of all of it was when it came to slavery. They wanted us to fear death. If you own your body, you have nothing to fear at all, period. Because when you're gone, they jug you or they shoot you. I'm coming back. That's exactly what I said. I'm coming back. And here I am again. What can you do with me? Nothing at all, period. Because death is transference. You see what I'm saying? And not that I'm gonna walk up and tell a police officer to shoot me. No, that's not the thing. It's the idea that I am empowered so much by the construct of my body, my mind, the third eye, the crown chakra. I mean, from the top to the bottom, I'm completely aligned. What can you do with me? Nothing. You can only smile at me and give me what I'm asking for. You see what I'm saying? That's the basis of all of it.
I know what you're saying.
Right. But yeah, it's all trickery, because it takes you and it puts you in a place to where the only senses they want you to think about are the senses that the smell, the taste, the touch, and there you go. Everything that has anything to do with making money for them.
They can monetize it.
Yeah.
They're not able to monetize imagination.
No, they cannot.
You know what I'm saying? It's coming from you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They can't monetize clairvoyance, what you're able to see and hear beyond this realm.
Exactly.
They can't monetize that when it empowers you.
Exactly.
When you're not looking for validation for anybody else about what it is that you're seeing, hearing, and understanding.
Right.
You know what? You ain't pushing it on nobody, but hey man, is that your reality?
Exactly.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. They eat it up though. They do. They eat it up, and they really want to know how are you doing. Go inside. Do what you got to do. Take a look on the inside of yourself. And for some, it's easy. For some, it's hard, because they've already connected with this track called life, and they've bought into this reality, and the rest of their senses are dulled completely. They can't move. But I work with youth and young adults, and the basis for us in the beginning when we do groups for the first 6 months is all self-love. Love yourself. Love who you are. Take a look at yourself. Look in the mirror. I know how it is to go years without looking in the mirror, and then when you finally do, you're like, what the hell? What have I been doing? I don't even recognize myself. So it's self-love. Look at yourself. Take an account for your movement, how you're living, what makes you happy. Don't discard that. Just love you. That's the beginning. And when that happens, you start looking for other things. Like, okay, well, if I can get this and I can do that, and I do love myself, and I'm supposed to have this, or I can have what I want, then what's been holding me back? That's the question. Go ahead.
With it, we're close to an hour. I want to close this out. I have a way that I want to start doing closing out. I want to close out with gratitude, or either something that you've learned via this episode, so that way we all have a reflective moment on this. I'll go last, so anybody who wants to start off can go first. Something that you learned from this, or either something that you're thankful for.
I gotta say, I'm very grateful to just be here. Like, being able to speak with you individuals has been quite the fucking honor. It's an honor to be here. As Impossible said, like, shit, no, I love it, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you guys whenever I can.
Most definitely. Thank you for being here.
It's the same thing. I'm the senses. what you showed me, I've never seen that before. If you can forward that to me, I'd really like to learn more about what you showed.
I got you.
And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the time, definitely. I'm grateful for this, the ability to sit again. Like I've said this a million times, but to sit in the energy, this energy is amazing for people on the same page or an understand. When you talk, I'm like, oh, I know that, I got that. This sometimes this walk is super lonely. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can talk to people, but you really can't talk to people. You see what I'm saying? So to be able to have this conversation and to hear things and to that resonate with you already, I appreciate this. I really do. So this is why I have gratitude for this whole podcast, bro. Keep it going. And
I mean, I've learned and I have gratitude because the thing about really evolving is allowing yourself to learn from others, to allow yourself to be that sponge, so you can be that lotus. You know what I'm saying? Coming out that mud. The gratitude is always sitting here with other individuals, as Walt said. Sometimes you can talk to people, but you really can't talk to people because you start talking this over here, they looking at you like.
Look at like you got a dick on your forehead or something.
That's the gratitude is, being able to speak on some things that like-minded and others will be able to understand and enjoy. Where if you just talk to the regular Joe Blow at the job, they looking at you like you done lost your mind. So that's the gratitude, and that's the thing that I've learned too. I really do appreciate the dynamics of that expression of the divine. It's really always an honor.
With me, one, I'm thankful for all y'all for being here, because I mean, every time that I'm around, it seems like the people who I end up being brought into my life, or either I end up crossing paths with, they always are teaching me something as well. At the same time as I'm learning, they're learning, and there's always a great influence on positivity. So I thank all y'all for that. And I'm glad that Annabelle brought up the prima materia, because I've never heard that word before. And I was like,
alchemical.
Yeah, I was like, I've never heard that before. So then when she brought that up, and then y'all started showing me, I thought they were sigils at first. I was like, wait, what? And so I mean, that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. And then it was also pretty dope when Nick and Impossible pulled up the same thing. I was like, yo.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I was like, dang, bro. I was like, two people from across the world. And it's funny, like I told y'all, I was like, me and him became like brothers. And literally, like with Impossible, this dude is like my older spiritual brother. Like we clicked almost instantly when we first met. I'm not gonna lie, it was like I felt drawn to him, but I was kind of standoffish due to stuff that I had went through previously. I was just like, I wasn't at that point where I trusted my own self. So, but I mean, after like the third time talking with him, I was just like, I can talk with him, and shit just grew. And I mean, even with like me and Nick, first time we met, we didn't have like a deep conversation, but it was almost like we spoke telepathically. It was weird as
Everything was just felt, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope. Like
I've got a few other friends like that too, where it's just here, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like I'm really grateful for being able to connect with so many individuals who actually operate out of love. Like,
yeah.
And there's no hostility amongst anyone, but they will defend themselves if they need to. And I mean, that's one thing that I like to see, because I see a lot of people who won't defend anything. They'll just keep on dealing with anything that's thrown against them. They won't speak up, and then next thing you know, you have somebody who's gone because they couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
You have other individuals who kind of live out of a jealous nature, to where they see somebody doing good, they want that, or they're going to try and sabotage that because they don't have it for their own. And I'm like, so it's nice to be around people to where you can be yourself and let that guard down, because you know that they're not on that malicious bad mind time, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, I really appreciate y'all for that. And I mean, without y'all, today could not have been possible. This right here tonight could not have been possible. But it backs my mind because it's divine time. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I'm gonna end this, and